I'm Tim Siebert, and I'm a master's student in mathematics at the Technical University of Berlin, and I'm working as a student assistant at the Weierstrass Institute of Berlin. And part of my master thesis was the implementation or the wrapping of the C++ library ADOLC, where it was mainly supervised by Jürgen Fuhrmann and Andrea Walter. In my talk, I explain you why we have implemented ADOLC.jl. I will introduce a method that is, to our knowledge, currently not available in Julia, the ABS linearization. Then I will go briefly through the API and explain future steps. So yesterday we had a nice talk by Adrian and Guillaume, and they told us there are already a lot of AD packages out in the Julia ecosystem, and it's quite easy to get lost when you have to select one. And yeah, here I am and present to you a new one. But actually that's not fully true, because ADOLC is a quite old package, which was originally written in C++, like 30 years ago. And it's also quite well known in that area. And one key aspect to implement ADOLC.jl was to enable people that use ADOLC in C++ to shift maybe more easily their codes to Julia. In addition, there are some key features which are currently not that available in Julia, like a focus on tape-based forward and reverse mode, and especially on the combination of them to compute then in the end higher order derivatives. And ADOLC does this also by using univariate Taylor polynomial propagation, but univariate Taylor polynomial propagation in the isolated aspects are also currently available in Julia. So, and also there are methods like the ABS linearization, which is not available in Julia but implemented in ADOLC. In addition, we focus on kind of intuitive access to the derivative computation. So the ABS linearization is basically a possibility to compute a piecewise linearization of a non-smooth function where the non-smoothness comes from an absolute value function. And with an ABS linearization, you can compute certain generalized gradients or Jacobians and use them in Newton steps, for example. In addition, the convergent properties of the ABS linearization is quite well understood, and there are, for example, second-order approximation properties. Also, an important aspect is that it's quite easy to introduce this to a forward mode system. For more information, you can find this in the paper, which is in the presentation. The API of ADOLC.jl first focuses on, we want to make the ADOLC methods available in Julia. Then we want to summarize various AD methods in some kind of intuitive drivers, or one driver where you can access the different modes. And the first idea is to use, or the first main function is the derivative function. You can specify a function, the derivative evaluation point, and when you, for example, want to compute a Jacobian matrix product, you do this by specifying this symbol. And the right multiplier, so the matrix in the Jacobian matrix product, is given by dir, which is short form for direction. And when you have, for example, Jacobian vector products, you can understand it as a directional derivative. That's why we call it dir. And then you just get the results by plugging everything into the derivative function. For first order derivative, there are a lot of, there are various possibilities. For example, also the Jacobian vector product or a vector Jacobian product, which is usually also implemented in forward and reverse mode packages. But there are extensions like Jacobian matrix and matrix Jacobian products. Second order derivatives can be computed in the same way. And for example, if you want to compute a matrix Hessian matrix product, which is a tensor product, you in addition have to specify weights, which is the left multiplier, and then give this to the derivative function. Also for this case, there are a lot of more possibilities like a Hessian vector product, and you can find all the possibilities in the documentation. There are also drivers for higher order derivatives, which can be accessed quite easily. For example, you can pass a list of partial derivatives in the following form. This partial derivative in the middle gives the sixth derivative with respect to x1 and the first derivative with respect to x2. And then you give the list of partials into the derivative driver and can access them and get the result. You can also just giving a degree to the derivative function and end up in the full tensor. I mean, currently the compressed tensor because you want to avoid similar values which occur because of symmetries. And then because ADOLC computes higher order derivatives based on univariate Taylor polynomial propagation and some cool mathematical tricks, you can also do Taylor polynomial propagation, univariate Taylor polynomial propagation, but this is also available in other packages. Future steps will be to integrate ADOLC.jl into the existing Julia ecosystem, AD ecosystem, for example in AD types or the differentiation interface.jl. And then we want to add more functionalities from ADOLC, and if you are aware of some functionalities which you want to use, just open an issue. And that's it. Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to ask questions.
Thank you. Anybody has a question on ADOLC? For example, which industry sector would the application of these methods most benefit within the upcoming, let's say, year or in the near future?
I mean, every part when you want to do some optimization, for example. For example, in electrical engineering, when you have, for example, more smoothness in the functions, you can do some optimizations over the non-smooth functions with a absolute linearization.
We still have time for 1 or 2 questions. Anybody from electrical engineering or highly sophisticated positions in AI, ML? Don't be shy. Thanks to Tim.